See if they found it. They
Called
just gave it over to SPT. Now here is there's always the argument. There are maps that SPT does worse on, but it's that scenario of they're so much better than us. We might as well at least just take the first pick advantage and just let them take us where they want.
Totally agree. Battlefield was banned, as you said, by the way. And Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to the Forbidden Tomb underneath the Sky Temple. And SPT, it's a little bit of a weaker map, so the fact that they actually were the ones choosing it is a little bit surprising.
They
But
want to pad their score.
Yeah, definitely true. Now, there's a lot of reasons, or several reasons, why I think SPT chose that battleground. One, they kind of want to practice on it. Because obviously, if it's one of their weaker battlegrounds, they were practicing a lot in scrims anyway. So now they want to test the results. They want to see how much of an improvement were we able to get during those scrims and during the exercises. So I like that choice. It's a very confident, a very bold move, but one that fits the Super Perfect team.
Indeed it is. I'm down with it. Let's see how well it works out for them in the end. So...
Cool thing is about Tomb of the Spider Queen, it might actually pave the way to a couple of heroes we haven't seen all day, like the Gul'dan, kind of celebrating his comeback in other regions, especially Europe and NA. I think the Gul'dan has been quite the pillar for many teams to fall back on if things don't go well.
Would agree with that. He's always there. He's just not prioritized, which I'm down with. It's all right. It's an okay place to be. This is the first Uther ban we have seen today, showing that once again China does really prioritize Uther.
Yeah. One hero we also have to mention, Tetcher, is the potential Ragnaros. Still sort of a niche hero in China that only normally gets picked here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. People like Ooze made him popular from E-Star last phase, but even up to this point, his legacy has continued.
Yeah, we also have on this particular map, the option of the Asmo Dam. So
Asmo, absolutely. Oh boy, Taste for Blood, old school 2015 Asmo.
Yep, it's happened in Open Division repeatedly.
Did those teams actually win?
Yes, most of the time.
Nice.
They lost one game. Basically, they played it and won most of their games with it. And then the team that was playing it went up against another team that did the exact same draft, but removed Asmodan and replaced it with Gul'dan and did infinitely better. So, yeah, you get the idea.
They may do better with a Gul'dan, but can they bring the swag of the
You can pull down from halfway across the map. But now, though, Rhaegar and Valor already good, clear onto those spiders. Our overlay appears to have vanished, Kendrick.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where it went, but so be it. I mean,
it's fine.
On the right-hand side, we have, of course, SPT, and on the left-hand side, we have TheOne. Nothing changes over here.
Yes.
Thank God. I remember those amateur tournaments where teams like to swap roles and places all the time, and you have to fix your overlay.
Still happens in Open Division all the time.
I feel so sorry for Grubby every single time.
I try to keep up with it. I try to make sure they're always on the same one, but it'll all be good.
All
right.
right.
We wait for the picks. While we are waiting for the picks, I will just quickly say I will be appearing on Trolling HGC, talk show by Nexus Trolls. That is on twitch.tv/TrollsGG tonight at, this will be, actually it'll be midnight in Central European time.
Cool. I haven't heard about this talk show at all.
It's good. It doesn't get as many views as it deserves, honestly. I enjoy it.
Can you type in the Twitch channel in our chat so people might actually follow it pre-hand?
I can do that.
There we go. In the meantime, we can highlight the fact that Lunara continues to be picked. Because why wouldn't you? If you realize times and times again how your team comp gets annihilated by her, you might as well just pick her in the result. And especially with Tassadar combined, just like SPT did previously, she just works like a charm. And now you have one job, Twitch chat. Go visit that channel and watch Daddy Thatcher being on camera in the evening.
If you're awake at midnight.
So I reckon it's a North American talk show then, or from North America.
It is Americans, yes.
Gotcha.
So we see the first band, the second rotation coming in. Main supports with Uther already banned. Who do you think would fit in best?
To be honest, from my personal point of view, I always want to see a Karazim. I think Karazim is heavily underrated. Even against Lunara, I think Kharazim is fantastic if you have a secondary support at your side, because he by far brings in the greatest amount of threat, single target DPS, to a squishy backliner like Lunara. So Iron Fist Kharazim is definitely something I want to see here. On Tomb, he might not be the best choice though, because his wave clear is rather limited. So let's say a hero like Brightwing might be a little bit better. Morales, if the enemy team like if SPT doesn't go for a lot of hard engage in CC, I think Morales could be a fantastic choice.
I would agree. There would be like there's still a couple of spots like Brightwing still available, for example. True. That could fit in quite well for the Lunara team. I would like to see Morales with Stim Drone. That would be fun.
Absolutely.
Jumping up a lot. They're trying to work out who has more potential threat AoE healing to deal with Lunara. They decide Tyrael might be the option. Otherwise, Lucio and Stukov for the other hovers. It is Tyrael.
Don't hate it. I don't hate the Tyrael ban at all, because we have seen how impactful Tyrael can be. And if there's one team that could make it work, it's probably SPT, like Misaka or Soap. Both are terrific Tyrael players, especially Soap. He used to be a Tyrael one-trick pony last phase when he was playing for E-Star. To the point where we actually criticized him for being rather predictable, let's put it this way. Totally forgot about the Genji though.
Yeah, that's still here. It's amazing just thinking that it's still it was still available if we think like 4 weeks ago. And it's just Genji auto ban, Genji auto first pick if it's let through.
If only we had another Angel in Heroes of the Storm, we could go for a quadruple Angel ban.
Oh, maybe. You just say that because you want Imperius.
Oh, I want Imperius. You know me too well, Tetcher.
So there is a support, well, sort of support, who we talked about very earlier and has seen no play today at all. Tyrande.
Yeah, what happened to... I still can't believe. Like, normally, Chinese teams, they need... I'm pretty sure they're doing it anyway, because they want to prepare, obviously, for BlizzCon, but they need to watch the other regions, like EU, Korea, and NA a little bit more, and they must have realized, hey, this Tyrande is actually tearing things apart and winning games left and right.
But we've seen one Tyrande in China total by CE.
Yep. That is true, and that wasn't even the Owl build. I think it was before.
It was kinda Owl builds, but not really well.
It was definitely in an era where the Owl build wasn't really popularized this much.
Yes, it was right at the start of when Tyrande started being played in the other regions, but they had it a little bit more refined.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
And it lost.
The fact that China still refuses to play Tyrande, very important to keep track of. Now, are we going to see a double support here? Or I actually don't think so. I'm not sure if Dehaka is enough of a frontliner to be deployed all by himself.
Yeah, they need a better tank here, and it's going to be Leoric, who has very much moved into that main tank spot these days.
Yeah.
But he has had very mixed results. Let's see if it is exactly the pick that SPT needed, or whether TheOne are going to continue to live up to their name and steal a single point.
I think there are a few reasons why Leoric is so good here. First of all, Arthas is highly immobile. As such, he's an easy target for the Drainhope to land on. ETC, same thing. Also, the March of the Black King, which could be a possibility here, as it is the new go-to heroic ability, could get great value against heroes like ETC and Arthas. Great sustain against Lunara too.
That's the thing. If we don't go for March of the Black King, we were talking about ways to catch Lunara. Level 20, drop a silencing entombment onto her, and she is gone. No way out.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that. Definitely getting a lot of value. Even without the silence, I think an entomb could also work wonders against heroes like Arthas, who can't run out of it. Malfurion, very easy to track. Pre-level 13 at least, before he gains access to the ice block. So, I think both teams came up with a really cool draft. I think it's definitely not the standard go-to we're used to seeing all day.
I would agree. It's definitely interesting. If I looked at these drafts without the team names, I think I would actually lean over to TheOne, but I know the team names, so I have to lean over to SPT.
Kind of agree. I think the Malfurion might be the one thing that really convinced me in order of TheOne. I think it's a highly underrated hero, but we're going to find out if that opinion is true or not. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves for Game 2 between TheOne and SPT. one last time, these teams will ride to battle on the tomb of the Spider Queen. On the left-hand side, we have TheOne, with Hugo on Arthas, ETC being played by Lucky, Meng goes for the Lara, Zyren on Malfurion, and Hehe on the Tassadar.
Whereas on the right-hand side, our current champions and 1-0 up, it is Super Perfect Team, with Chen Zhao on the Valor, Melody C on the Genji, Misaka on the Leoric, Soap on Dahaka, and ZZH on Rhaegar. 3 of their players on what I would argue are potentially some of their top heroes.
Yeah.
The fact that we have Melody C on that Genji is enough to be terrifying on its own. Chen Zhao somehow being given a Valor, and ZZH on Rhaegar. What could possibly go wrong for them here, except Leoric turning into Leorki?
That would be quite unfavorable indeed for SPT. But as you said, very good point, Tetcher. We have the best Genji in the league. We have the best Vala in the league by far being deployed here for a Super Perfect Team. And as you said, ZZH on that Rhaegar has been looking dominant as well. Misaka, super solid player in terms of mechanics. So I doubt that we're going to see a Leorki anytime soon. But, you know, let's see how things are going to unfold. But Melody C, I really want you guys to pay special attention on the Genji here. I labeled him as the most impactful player in the entire league, and I really think that with his strong mechanics and his overall good game sense, he's not going to disappoint us here.
I would agree with you. You can definitely keep an eye on him. I'm sure he will impress us. As for now, Melody C poking down the Lunara and the ETC to see as possible. Misaka, he's kind of rotating with the team, but he's not doing it too quickly yet. That will likely come in, especially by 13, once the team starts roaming around together. Leoric will start being the one who is left alone, likely with Ominous Ray for... oh no, wait, it's Royal Focus was moved to 16 now, so yeah, just has to rely on his own standard Wraithwalk if he does want to do that double lane rotation.
Exactly. A talent that might help him when it comes to, you know, wave clearing 2 lanes at the same time is Neil Peasants at level 4. But as we've seen in the previous games, the level 4 is basically not set in stone. You can go for Neil Peasants, but you can also go for the Ghastly Reach. Paralyzing Rage not really as popular anymore because the other talents normally have more teamfight reliability. Nice drag on Hugo, and I don't think Arceus can get out of this here. Was that a drag over the wall?
No, I don't think so. It was just coming out of the bush.
Out of the bush and out of nowhere. Holy.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
His best Randy Autumn impression out of nowhere. Lucky's actually being forced all the way back. Pleb Spray, come on, Lucky. Pleb Lizard, come on, Lucky. What are you doing? As he is, as he brings shame to style. As Melody C
just casually jumping in with the agile dismount just to use deflect and get a couple of spikes kunais onto the enemy ETC. What a guy.
It is very cool. We do once again see the return of the Dragon Claw coming in for that Genji. And as you did say earlier, Neil Peasants coming in for Leoric.
Now, so far, it is so cool. I don't even know how they did it, to be honest, because I think that TheOne actually had pretty good lane rotations overall, and there's only 1 kill advantage in order for SPT right now. But still, they maintain a half-level lead just by out-rotating and outsmarting them. It's so impressive to see.
We see Misaka backing up, not wanting to get taken out with this very aggressive rotations, while SPT continuing to put pressure onto this bot lane. Root lands and only on minions, not getting any value out of it. Zhen Zhao's already out of danger here, and is beginning to drop damage to try and give Soap a chance to escape, but Soap shall drop. Good rotation this time from TheOne, evening up the kill count 1-1.
Yeah, Soap has been dropped. You normally don't want to pick it up though. Gotta be careful here, Soap. You really don't want to fall victim to those gangs anymore, especially not on the Dahaka. Dahaka has limited mobility, you know, compared to other warriors. He's not the fastest unless he stacks up his level 1 talent. However, it should not happen. Like,
no.
It should not happen. I'm trying to find I was trying to find an excuse here for Dahaka, maybe buying a little bit of time elsewhere or going for a tactical feed approach, but no.
Tactical feed to Hacker. Speaking of the Hacker, have we really talked about his level 1 yet? Because it ain't speed based.
Oh, right, he didn't even go for the race car.
Yeah, tissue regeneration. Grab globes, get health regen, and basically turns him into a bit more of a solar, bit more of a tank, which I guess is fine when you already have Leoric, who has a quite low health pool anyway. Still goes for the one who collects, so we can get more essence quicker. So this is very much just a full tankiness tank Dahaka. Even the symbiosis can, in theory, help him out a little bit later.
I think the major reason why Soap didn't want to go for the race car build here is because on Tomb of Spider Queen you have a relatively low number of bushes overall. So maybe he thinks he's going to get more sustain. He's going to get more value from the constant sustain. Remains to be seen though. I'm a little bit skeptical because I think especially near those turn points there's a lot of bushes to capitalize from. But let's see how it pans out for them.
His objective is to reduce armor, I assume.
Right.
Like he's literally just going to move in with that level 7 symbiosis and the level 13 primal swarm, and just stay there. Have adaptation, have essence, have all that normal health regen, and just tank. That's all he needs to do. Just lower the armor and let Valor do her thing.
Man, Melody is so good on just annoying the enemy team come, diving into the backline only to disappear with a swift strike. He's so hard to catch, and he causes so much distraction as well. He's single-handedly denied the entire turn-in point here from TheOne. Now he's going back again, and he's constantly harassing Tassadar as well. So Tassadar is forced to use the shields on himself rather than on an ally like, let's say, Lunara. Kind of cool, but yet it was not enough. TheOne get the first turn in. Very well done.
You were talking about Genji being annoying there. Even more annoying was Arthas in that. He was just throwing in his bouncing Q as he took at level
reduction.
Yeah, he took at level 4 the Death Lord, the cooldown reduction, and the extra range, allowing him to poke from further away, and the Immortal Coil. So he was able to harass the players who were trying to turn in, and also keep himself sustained from the Genji poke at the same time.
That is actually a really nice analysis, Tetra. You're totally right. I have not even paid attention to it. And normally we're used to seeing the Iceborne Fortitude guys at level 7 giving Arthas a little bit of damage reduction and, of course, more importantly, the CC effect reduction. But look at the lineup from SPT. Except for the Licky Sticky Tongue, there is no hard crowd control. No stuns, no roots. And as such, I think the increased healing from the Immortal Coil makes a lot of sense.
Burrow for delays. You can see that health regen not going to help if you die. Soap goes down and taken out. The gems are retrieved by Merly, but now he's trying to defend. Webweaver finally goes down, and Merly going to try and turn around something. The slow is good, but they don't have the damage, and they don't want to go into a 4 versus 5.
Genji still hovering over the level 10 here. Could it be the X-Strike, which is normally the go-to choice if the enemy team has a lot of dangerous lockdown available? But we're gonna find out in a bit. Death March locked in, by the way, for Leoric, keeping him alive for a little longer, especially when enemy heroes are nearby.
Dropping some good damage. If he does go for that ominous Wraith style, he gets huge damage reduction straight into the back line, and you're marching a Black King back through to your own front line. It is going to be the X-Strike. Doesn't want to get caught in that Twilight Dream or that Mosh Pit. Wants to give Genji that little escape button.
Also a nice gap closer if you want to chase the target a little bit more, and your Swift Strike and your Hoppity Hop are on cooldown.
Dahaka continues being a tank, taking the adaptation. He is just full all in on sustain today. Another denial there. Unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, well done. Sneaky turning up in top lane by SPT, so they do get their own Webweaver wave.
And take a look at the minimap. The first turn-in by TheOne didn't really do anything. The forts are still in tip-top condition, and the only thing TheOne really achieved was getting a couple of those towers. Now, SPT, they're going to make it a little bit better than their opponents. The first wave responds in the middle, relatively close to the towers. Second one at the bottom, the towers have already been cleaned up.
Now is he wanting to annoy here as he's trying to defend alone. It is just a full split up on the defense by TheOne. Now Furion has fully stacked something that is going to be his Moonburn.
The Moonburn at level 1 really helps him out to deal with those minion waves. It's actually a really good point to pay attention to. Like, Malfurion is oftentimes underrated on maps where wave clears of the essence, like Brax's Hollow or Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, really good talent build in my personal opinion. I would definitely go for almost the same one, though I do appreciate or prefer the level 7 slow a little bit more over the additional damage.
Fair enough. The slows are good, especially if you have a Lunara on your team.
True. Very true. The unfair advantage would get a lot of additional value. But with Arthas, I don't think you really need it.
Yep, Arthur sort of covers that. Even with Tassadar as well, you kind of got that overall pretty good. So, Misaka, front-lining here. He has 40 gems, though. Beautiful multi-shot, denying 3 members a turn-in. Unfortunately, Tassadar's still doing it. There's nothing SPT can do about it. Another turn-in coming in for the one. Doing far better this game, but they are still a full level behind. Can't get Leoric.
Yeah, Leoric too slippery with that Wraith Walk, and even the cleanse would have been on time. Once again, we see the exact same Rehgar build from ZZH like last game. Spirit Walker's Grace at 4, plus the Tidal Wave at 13 gives him so much AoE healing synergy. And Melody C, he's a hidden ninja. Now he's getting sparked.
The chat are telling us that it is hindering Moonfire. We have our colours wrong.
Oh, there we go.
Lunar Shower. So
I apologize.
So hooray! We agree! It's all good. Thank you, chat. As we do see the Web Weavers beginning to move in. Misaka defending with that Neil Peasants, clearing out the minions and beginning to work down those spiders. Top's already being cleared thanks to that huge Valor damage.
Yeah, the huge Valor damage. Guanzhao is such a force on this hero. You can never let your guard down. Like, if this guy plays on the Vala, you're always going to have to pay special attention to him. Look at how he's posturing up with a Rehgar here. Genji getting caught. The Melody Seed needs to get out of there in time. He didn't have to use the deflect, so he can really reinitiate and cause a lot of trouble for the enemy team's backline. X-Strike also there to keep him safe and sound for now.
Dope has regen. He just finished stacking. He is going to
ETC with a flank.
Very tanky. ETC is coming right from the flank. Gets slightly delayed by the Raid of Vengeance.
They want the Rehgar.
Moving in with adaptation, holding the line, and they will get the Rehgar. Rehgar gets removed. Dahaka even gets silenced by the twice. Reem and Zhenjiao, he has no healer. Rehgar's down. He gets taken out. Misaka's still alive, but it's still a 2-for-1. They're desperately trying to get Hugo, but it's not working. Hugo's tanking through. Now Soap's in danger as Meg chases him down. Leaping strike for the kill. Can they get one more time? Misaka Wraith walking.
Oh, it's a team up, Tetcher.
Poison's too much. 77 gems down the drain.
Oh boy, that is the worst possible outcome for SPT. Not only did they lose so much XP and gave it all to their opponents, but as you said, Leoric dropped so many gems. He was a rich king. No, he's a beggar's king. No longer will SPT have any chances of getting a turn-in anytime soon. And the one, everybody board the hype train for the underdogs here. They come into this second game and they are not afraid. They do not show respect to SPT that manhandled them in the previous game.
And indeed, that is the case. As the one, they're looking for their opportunity for vengeance. Cleanse used to try and let Dahaka chase, but did not work. Malfurion's gone, and the cleanse is now burned.
Yeah, Genji Melody C was not brave enough to chase him all the way down. Tunnel vision deactivated for this one. I think it would have been safe to actually follow the Malfurion though, but of course SPT does not have the caster vision, right? They don't have a minimap telling them all the information they need. So after getting demolished in the last team fight, I think SPT is going to approach future engagements much more carefully, right?
Probably. At least they should, if they want to actually survive. They do scale horrendously well into the late game, though, especially Leoric gets some crazy value. Issue with that is so does Lunara. This is where they can have a problem. If Lunara starts to get out of control, and they're bad. Either way, even though it's been 2 sets of Web Weavers, no forts have been killed by the one.
Yeah, I was going to say, the overall value that the one was able to get from this team wipe, very, very limited. Very limited. Yeah. No forts have been destroyed.
They got nothing, really. Dahaka, getting focused, has to borrow to get out of the root, give himself a self-cleanse.
Leoric is still draining, very nicely done. But I gotta give a lot of shout out once again to Hugo as well, Tetcher. Hugo managed to stay alive in that last team fight, baiting in so many cooldowns and resources from the enemy team, and he refuses to die. And I think that's mainly because of his adaptation of the Talon build. There is no hard crowd control effects. That's why he didn't need to go for the Icebound Fortitude. But that massive Q build gives him so much consistent self-sustain that I'm not sure if SPT can actually kill that Arthas.
It gives really good damage as well. With level 16, Embrace Death, where it does 10% more, where it does more damage the lower health he is.
Oh my goodness, the
really
Resonation, actually it's not Resonation, but the slows by Lunara and the Side Storms from Tassadar, they really start to kick in. And once again, it looks like SPT is a little bit helpless. They can't flank them, they can't engage on them, because Leoric didn't go for the Entomb either. That could have maybe been a great tool to lock someone down and force the issue. But even as it is, it's just so hard for SPT to land anything on anyone.
Really does seem to be consistent bat harass, as we shall call it, with this particular skin. Demounting Leoric and just continuing to be a nuisance. As once again, TheOne, another set of turn-ins. And this one, it's got to at least get bot.
Yeah.
Please, just kill something. As Misaka's in position to try and defend mid. Melody sees top lane. He does not have very good wave clear. But luckily, the wave's a little bit less pushed up, so he has a bit more time. Dahaka is actually clearing up this web weaver, but finally, a fort dies in the mid lane.
Hugo's playstyle actually reminds me of Uther's Holy Shock build. Like, he's constantly throwing down those immortal coils against any target that's in his vicinity. He's always going to get a little bit of self-healing, a lower cooldown on it as well. It's just so cool to see this adaptation coming in and going, or getting so much value as well. Keep in mind, Leoric, by the way, Tetra, he did not go for the Ominous Wraith build. He went full W, going for the increased self-healing. Excuse me, the increased cooldown reduction and the additional damage after a full channel. So cool to see the adaptation, but it just doesn't work so far.
This is fine, especially with the level 20. If he does go for that Death March, you can get some really cool value from this, meaning that you constantly have the sustain.
Even the Burning Despair. The cooldown reduction
also really good.
Yeah. Oh boy, that boss call is very brave though. Oh, I'm not sure if TheOne needs to go in like that.
They're abandoning it. They have Mosh Pit available though. Oh, Melody C, you beauty. Baited out powers. Misaka pulling back. And they still want it. They get it back down to half health. Melody C round 2. Melody C round 2 comes back in. Are they going to fall for it?
Dahaka is joined. Lucky's low.
Dara. The boss has been abandoned once again. They get the kill with the X-Strike, killing off the ETC. That Mosh Pit Fred is now gone. The silence onto Leoric, though. Ancestral keeps him alive. March of the Black King to tag through. And SPT, it took them a while, but patience and pressure has forced a mistake. And TheOne lose 3 members.
Tetra, why did TheOne go for this boss call again? Was there
I don't know.
any pressure of them losing anything else? Or did they have a talent lead? Or was it just China?
Just China. That is the just China. That is all that was. Leoric pieces out to the mid lane because guess what? Not only do they have this boss, they have gems. Webweaver boss turn, and they even delay the boss so that the turn-in happens and everyone is healthy. They're going to wait for the Webweavers to get to about the midpoint and to make it all go in at the same time.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We now have the Chinese champions known as Super Perfect Team in full momentum. They're trying to utilize this boss and the Webweavers combined, and I think it might be sinister times for that top lane. It's probably going to get demolished, especially if more people end up falling. Leoric trying to go for the Drain Hope. Level 20 is around the corner with those towers falling and maybe even the keep. There is a guarantee that these 20 towns will be there in time. Also, Dahaka on the bottom. He can, of course, use the brush dog. There's a tiny little bush in the back behind the Webweaver. Tetra, can they actually build up the pressure and can they do it?
Let's find out. Mosh is still available. It was not used in the last fight because ETC got wiped like a dry erase board. As he's trying to position himself, trying to posture, but the boss is so healthy. Webweaver's luckily ticking down, so they're going to have a little bit less pressure as the Webweaver will die before he gets to the core. Dahaka has arrived. They are ready for this defense. Boss at half health, moving on. ETC gets drained, takes so much damage. Meg nearly gets hit, and the team is now surrounding the core. That's it. There's no potential for a Mosh. Boss is still too healthy. Raid of Vengeance. Core goes down, and that is GG. Well played. SPT takes the 2-0.
They take the 2-0 because TheOne were just too greedy, going for a classic boss call that didn't really make a lot of sense. But sometimes, you know, you're just getting a little bit anxious. Sometimes when there isn't an abundance of objectives available, like on Tumulus Brighter Queen, that is oftentimes the case when all mercenary camps are gone, when the turn is nowhere to be found because you don't have enough gems. Sometimes you have those kind of reckless decisions of, hey guys, can we maybe just go for the boss, or maybe even force a team fight because we've been doing so well in those previous team fights. But as I keep saying, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you need to let go.
Sometimes you need to let go, and as much as I say bad decisions are the spice of life, bad decisions also don't always win your tournaments. So in this case, TheOne, the only in SPT, the only non-1-1 of today.
Yeah.
And as such, the positions stay pretty much the same for all the teams except for TheOne, who are now tied with Soa in 4th place. Well, technically 3rd, because Challenge and Beyond the Game also are tied. There's lots of ties. This bracket is confusing.
By the way, Tetra, I see you just used a couple of fancy emojis here in the Twitch chat, especially that HGC throw pit. Now, this might be a silly question. I can't even tell what this HGC throw pit is trying to resemble. What is it supposed to be?
Those are low health bars of everyone attempting to finish off the boss, and then the entire enemy team shows up and ruins them.
Okay, now Silly Kendrick got it as well. Speaking, of course, of HGC emojis, you can unlock those fancy things if you cheer for your favorite teams on the official Heroes of the Storm Esports channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/BlizzHeroes. Use your bits and unlock cool swaggy swag.